Hi YouTube family, this is Denise in the Little Sewing Room bringing you an update, or rather a review of 4 shirts that were given to me by a client who said that they had seen better days, but he loved the shirts and he wanted to know if I could do something creatively to keep these dress shirts in his wardrobe. And he gave me a little time and I think I did a great job. So I do not have a before picture of the shirt. I just have what I did. And I'm ready to get these shirts back to my guest or my client. And let me show you how or what I did to help these shirts last long. And truth be told, if anybody knows, has their husband or significant other who has had a shirt and they've worn out the collar edge where the roll of the collar is, or the cuffs, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let me just show and demonstrate for you. Let's get to it. Here are the 4 shirts that I have worked with. Blue stripe, 2 white plique cottons, and a tan and white. The tan and white one was by far the hardest one to do because I didn't have any extra fabric to work with. On the tan and white one right here, I didn't have anything I could use to fix the collar and the cuff. But here, what I did is I simply flipped the cuff. And I want you to see, this is the original side of the cuff. And you can see where it's worn and everything. And what I did was take the cuff off and reverse it. And because the underside of the cuff was not interfaced, I had to make a decorative seam down the center of the cuff to take out the extra added bulk of an uninterfaced piece of fabric. And I simply top stitched it back on, fold up, and he's back in business. The collar was worn and frayed as a neckline, and I could not reverse it because of the collar stay tab and because I didn't have any other white fabric to work with. So I simply removed the entire white collar and I dropped it down into the seam allowance and restitched it back on. Note, this part is a little bit narrower than the original. So on the back, when it folds, it comes up just a wee bit higher. But that will be hid by a suit coat, and I think it'll be alright when it's being worn underneath a coat. But now he has a fresh collar ready to go. So that was one way to salvage that one. This all white one right here, they're by far the easier to do because you can just cut off some of the length to get some fabric. And I got permission to take, I needed 3 inches. But here again, I can't reverse the collar because different from days of old for men's collars, collars now have the stay tabs in them. So with the stay tabs, you can't necessarily just reverse the collar and get a good side. You've got this stay tab, sometimes it's pieced into place. So taking the 3 inches that was allowed to me at the bottom, what I did was cut an overlay to cover all of the worn area of the collar, all the way across. I'm going to unbutton this so I can let you see it. There it is. There is the overlay right in there. I did all the top stitching on to mimic it, so when he folds it down, just a hint of it will show in the original fold, and it becomes a decorative feature. Here again, he's got another shirt salvage. Alright, another white one. The white shirts are by far the easiest ones to salvage. Here again, I was able to get some from the length on the shirt. I did the overlay. Now the difference with this one is the shirt yardage runs around the body and the collar runs up and down the grain. So we get a around the body and that little overlay. But I try to keep it just the most minimal amount so that it doesn't really show when it's being worn. And on the sleeves, since the sleeves were worn, here's the back of the sleeve. This is what I wanted to see. It's not lined, so you're going to get a lot of stretched out fabric. So I couldn't reverse it as I wanted to. So what I ended up doing was taking a piece of the scrap fabric, unbutton the French cuff, and putting an overlay on the cuff that covered the worn area. Fold it up. It's back in business. The last shirt was a blue stripe, a wardrobe staple for any man who wears a suit. He's gonna love having the blue stripe. A blue stripe shirt is just totally awesome. So this one was really worn. The collar was worn, and here again I ran into the issue where the stripes are running down on the shirt and they run around on the collar and around on the cuffs. So what do? On the collar, I took my 3 inches from the hemline and I pieced together enough to cover the worn area of the collar. I tried to give it just a wee bit over the edge. There we go. Pieced together. And just overlay that, top stitch it down and reinforce the stitching. But on the cuffs were worn very much at the very end. Normally where a man's cuff. All here was just raw. And there wasn't much I can do but to do a bit of creative piecing. And the only way the stripes would run was up and down. So I did a little creative fold and reinforced that bottom area with the stripes going the other way, and get the okay from the wearer. And underneath the suit jacket, it's gonna create a stunning effect. 4 men's shirts, salvage so that they can be worn again. That's the great thing about men's shirts. The fabric is always so good. This is really good fabric. It wore in normal areas where things do wear out. And so salvaging them for him was really fun. I really enjoyed doing it. He's happy with it. And when it wears out some more, then he'll probably say, here, you need some scraps for your quilting or something. And I'll be like, yeah, sure. So I want to thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoyed knowing that you can do this. I'm preparing another video. I'm going to get some men's shirts videos up for you and a tutorial on doing men's slacks. So stay tuned for Denise in the Little Sewing Room. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell others about the Little Sewing Room. But you know my most important statement is keep sewing because it is fun.